Welcome to ON1, the podcast for tips, tricks, and techniques for the ON1 software community. And here's your host, Scott Kelby.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the last ON1 of the year, where we talk about all the cool things you can do with ON1 software and plugins. And there's some amazing stuff you can do, as you were going to see today. In a few moments, we're going to be joined by Dan Harlacher from ON1, and he's going to be showing you some cool new stuff that you haven't seen. And I'm going to show you stuff that you may have seen, but I want to talk about first, I want to talk about noise. Because, you know, it was interesting. I just got somebody to send me a note, and they asked me to do a little video for them on what I see coming, like in 2026, like in photography. And I'm thinking about, you know, what it would be. But when I look back, if somebody had asked me a year ago, I didn't realize that we were going to have such a change that's going to change the way we actually use our cameras in such a significant way, as programs like what I'm going to show you here in just a moment, which is NoNoise AIs from ON1. And it has changed the way I think about photography. I used to be so worried to shoot at like 800 or 1600 ISO. And I now find myself shooting at 25,800, and I'm not freaked out about it because I know I can wipe it away later. Do you know how that changes everything? Like, I'm shooting in real dark locations. I'm shooting in, you know, inside palaces or cathedrals or places where it's really, really dark. And I'm just cranking it up to whatever I need. I actually, a lot of times, use auto ISO. So that way I don't even have to think about my ISO. I'll say, look, go no lower than 1/60th of a second. So I'll turn on auto ISO in my camera. I'll say, don't go lower, because I can hold it pretty steady at 1/60th. Now, if you're not feeling really comfortable about holding it super steady and you have good hand holding technique, I would set your minimum shutter speed to 1/125th. And that's kind of what I would tell people. Like, if they're like, hey, I want to use auto ISO, how low should I let my shutter go? I would set my minimum shutter speed at 1/125th. But I've been doing that for years, and I'm down to 1/60th. And I know there's people, probably Eric Kuna, who can shoot at 1/20th or so, you know, it's really low. I'm not that guy, but I know I can do 1/60th of a second. Well, when you do that, you're telling your camera, look, just boost the ISO to whatever it needs to be, so I don't shoot under 1/60th of a second, so my handheld shots will be sharp. And the old thinking, this is the old thinking, was, well, I'd rather have a noisy shot than a blurry shot, so I'll just add some ISO. But you did it, you hated it, and you were like, now, I don't even think about it anymore. I don't even worry about it. And I want to show you some examples here, and what I'm hoping to do is to convince you to think differently. The year of like 2026 was the year where we stopped worrying about noise. And we stopped it not because our cameras got that much better, though the mirrorless cameras are better than the old DSLRs for sure, but still. So on a mirrorless camera, I'll shoot at whatever, 6,400, not even blink an eye, go all the way up to 25,800. I'm not even worried about it. So let's take a look at some shots here on screen. And so let's go in and really zoom in on this one and look. Oh my gosh, it's raining noise on this image, right? So, oh, look at that. It's misery. But this is what we've been dealing with for all these years. This is why you didn't shoot at that. But I don't care anymore. I will go here, let's go to filter. ON1, and I'm choosing right here, ON1 NoNoise AI. And by the way, the latest version is 2024, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But let's give it a second for it to do its thing. Are you seeing this? There, let me zoom in a little bit. Are you seeing this? Watch. Look at the split screen. Are you kidding me? This, you're seeing exactly why I just don't care anymore. I'm going to shoot at whatever ISO I need to get a sharp shot and forget the noise, because look at this. I'm removing the noise here. Look right here where I'm at. Let me zoom in a little. Look at this. The way it retains the sharpness is just unbelievable. Look at the wood grain on the chessboard, right? That's just... All right, so why is it the 2024 version? Well, they're always working on new stuff. They're always developing and stuff, but what are they going to do? I'd be very interested to see when a new one comes out, like, what are you going to do that's better than this? But because I saw what they did to Resize AI, where you thought it was as good as it could get, and then they like quadrupled it. Like the quality just went up, it soared through the roof. So I can't imagine. But this is the one I use in and day out. It's fantastic. If you're not using this one, you could open up a whole new world to yourself. So you got to get this. All right. Because I know that if you're watching this, you probably have other ON1 software, right? Now, I came in through the door. I came into ON1 using effects, because there are effects that I guess I could probably do manually in Photoshop, but it would take so long. And I open effects and there's exactly the stuff that I need. All my finishing moves are right there. All the things that I did. That's where I came in. But since then, I'm using NoNoise AI and Resize all the time. They become parts of my stable workflow. It's like, this is exactly what I'm doing. Let's look at another image. Let me just show you here. Let me quit out of that. And let's open a different one. All right, let's open, how about this one? So this is taken in my wife's art studio, right? So my wife's got a little studio. Look at this noise. Jeez, oh Pete. It's raining noise on this picture. All right, filter, ON1, and we'll go to NoNoise AI. And give it just a sec right there. Here in the bottom corner, you can see the status bar. Give it a sec to run its thing. And look at that. Are you seeing this? I hope you're seeing this. Look at this. This is insanity. And let's scroll down. Let me scroll down a little bit here and let you see this bird. Look at this. That's unbelievable. And you can shoot at just these high, crazy ISOs. Now, I want to draw your attention to this thing over here that I do use called micro sharpening. So it's sharpening of very small details, right? So maybe like the details that you see in this bird, I'm going to raise the micro sharpening. And are you seeing that? Look at that. I'm just amazed. This is one of those programs, and I was talking to Dan Harlacher before we went on the air. It's like, this is still one of those ones that I run it and I say it out loud while I'm sitting there by myself in my house, and I'm just saying, just wow, like how did this even happen? Here, let me grab one more and just give you another shot at it. Now this one doesn't look too bad when you're zoomed out, right? But when you zoom in, look at this. Look at this mess. All right, filter, ON1. All right, where is it? NoNoise, AI, here we go. And let's zoom in so you can really see it. Did you just see that when it kicked in? Look at this. That's incredible. Just, how do you even explain that to someone? You know, you tell people, oh, no, it does a really good job with noise. And they're like, oh, I'm sure it does. Sure it does. But they're not even thinking about this stuff. Like, that's crazy. Anyway, I think this is the big thing that happened last year is we finally got to that point where noise no longer matters. It doesn't stand between us and making an in-focus picture or a sharp picture or anything like that. And I think that is really, really, really big. If you don't have this, go get it. Download the demo. Try it out. See if it is everything I said it is. It's pretty darn amazing. And like I said, it is now part of my everyday workflow. So I am super, super digging it. Okay. Hey, by the way, we got some shout outs from all over. Andres is here. Hey, Andres. Or it could be Anders, but I'm going to go with Anders. It is Anders. We always see Anders as a faithful watcher of the grid. He says that denoise thing is great. That denoise thingy. It's great. Yes, it is. It's amazing. And we got some shout outs. Eileen is shouting out from Argyle. Scotland, Allison and Jeremy. Greetings from a festive UK. Thank you for joining us. And Bo Badger, or Bobager, who knows, says greetings from Fredericksburg, Virginia. Thank you guys for tuning in from all over. Hey, I want to bring Dan on because Dan has all the cool stuff. There's Dan. Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you, Scott?
I'm quite good. I have a weird thing going on, Dan. I have Diet Coke in my cup, which I usually have water in. I don't think I've ever had Diet Coke out of a coffee cup. I can tell you, it's disconcerting.
Disconcerting. Well, it's not quite martini time. It's not
No.
martini in a coffee cup.
No,
so.
it's, well, yeah, I think that would be actually better than it. This is a mess. Anyway, Dan, good to have you here. All right, what are you going to be showing us today? You're showing us some new stuff.
Well, I'm going to show you a little bit of NoNoise and some new stuff that's coming, but I kind of wanted to talk more about what you were talking about. You know, the other thing that NoNoise gives you, and you kind of combine those with, IBIS today, is it liberates you from that, the three-legged monster.
Yes.
You don't have to carry a tripod everywhere you go. And a lot of places you can't. Like that shot you had just a minute ago, you probably weren't allowed to take a tripod there. Or you had to pay extra and go different hours to take a tripod. And we all know that when we set up a tripod, every photo you shoot is from about 5.5 feet tall. It's eye level. It's boring. But, you get rid of that tripod and you use stabilization and you use NoNoise, and now you're free to shoot 10 times more shots than you probably would have if you had your tripod with you. And you get to try all the fun angles that you're never going to get down your tripod on the ground to find. So I think it's a big win in creativity, not just in terms of being able to capture your normal photos.
No, you know what, Dan? I 100% agree. I wish I'd thought to say that because it's true. You're tethered to that thing, and there are less places now in the world that you can use a tripod than there has ever been. The crackdown on tripods like there's some evil thing is crazy. But I'll say this, like I just came back from like 10 days in Sydney, Australia. Unless I am actually doing a long exposure, like I'm actually putting an ND filter on and I'm going to be open for 51 seconds or something like that, I hardly pull up my tripod at all. Even for HDRs and stuff, like I can handhold a 3 bracket in most situations. And if one of them's kind of noisy, I'm not even the least bit worried about it. But yeah, it frees you up to be more creative. It's something else you're not having to haul around, because I hate hauling around stuff. You wouldn't know about this, Dan, but as you get older, you start to really hate carrying a bunch of gear. When you're younger, you bought it all. Now you have it, and you feel like you have to take it, and it's misery. And this is the worst thing to carry, is the tripod. So, man, you're 100% with you on that. 100%.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, let me show you. Where the heck is my screen share at on this thing?
Hey, by the way, while he's looking for that, just want to mention to you guys watching, while we have Dan is the guy that I call when I get stuck. If there's something I want to know how to do or what to do, as Dan will attest to, I call him at all hours. I'm not suggesting that you do that. What I'm suggesting is we have Dan. He's here. If you've got a question for him about any of the ON1 products or the plugins, this is the time to jump in and ask Dan a question, especially while he's looking to how to share his screen. All right, that's it.
Yeah, no, it's there. And if you slip Scott a 20, he'll probably give you my phone number. So.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. No, that's mutually assured destruction. So we have each other's phone numbers. So. All right. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about actually restoration. We all have a lot of old photos, film scans, prints from the past. I want to show you how you can combine NoNoise and Resize to actually do some photo restoration tasks. So I borrowed this photo from our friends over at NASA because everything's free from them. This was actually shot in about 1990. It's probably, 645 medium format film. So you can see it's pretty grainy. It's a little bit soft. Let's go through and see how much better we can make this by combining 2 of our most popular AI models together. So first thing we want to do is reduce some of that noise. So I'm going to go down into noise and sharpening. We'll turn on NoNoise. And this is kind of what Scott was showing, but I'm going to do something a little different. You notice here in the models, there's different AI model for noise reduction. The 2024 high detail, that's the best one for original digital capture stuff from, modern high resolution digital camera. If you're working with older stuff, film scans, go down to the regular 2024 model instead, and boom, you can see how it does an even better job of softening up that big golf ball sized grain that we had in there. Then you can fine tune the enhanced detail and the micro sharpening. I tend to turn that micro sharpening down and maybe the luminance up. It's kind of based on your preferences. That looks pretty good to me though. So let me turn that on and off so you can see before and after. Before, after. Let me zoom in even closer here. And we'll do a little split screen just so you guys can see the difference. So, pretty big difference in terms of the noise. Now, you notice though, when I do that noise reduction, those faces that were already kind of grainy and soft get even a little bit more softer because grain or noise is part of the structure of the photo that makes our eye believe it's sharp. So when you smooth it out too much, it doesn't look sharp, even though what you were really looking at was kind of a false sharpness in the first place. So I'll show you how you can get that back. So I'm going to apply NoNoise here, block it down, and then I'm going to go into Resize. Now, Resize has all the algorithms for increasing the scale of a photo, making it bigger. So I'm just going to do a simple 2x increase in size using the standard model. This is a pretty quick and easy adjustment here. Because what I really want to show you guys is down here in face recovery. So we're actually using the 2026.2 update. Comes out today, probably in about an hour. You guys will be able to get this update. And it has a brand new improved model for face recovery, which does a much better job on faces, especially faces that are tiny, far away, blurry, have glasses, have lots of teeth. It'll do a better job. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more here. This is, what are we at here? 200%. And I'm going to turn face recovery on. And it'll go through, it will find all the faces in the photo, and it will basically rebuild them from kind of that latent image that's underneath and give us higher quality, better looking faces.
Dan, you're on dial-up internet?
I am, apparently.
Are you using,
I'm not sure what the scoop
are you
is
using
here.
AOL as your provider?
Is it the video or is it just is it everything that's being slow?
Mine's slow here too, but I don't know. Oh, look, there it goes.
There we go. Pop. Now we can actually see how crisp and sharp those faces are here. I'm just going to turn that on and off so it's a little easier for you guys to see the difference here. So there's off. Ew, that doesn't look very good, does it? So that's the faces without any face recovery. And let me turn it on here. Boop. See how those faces now look sharp and real. All their hair. Oops, I zoomed out a little too much there, didn't I? Yeah, but that is all there is to it, to bring back those faces to high quality before and after.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I tend to think it's pretty cool. Before and after. It's also great on little old black and white photos, especially before autofocus. It was actually surprising how many photos were not in focus that we have in our archives. So this will really help bring back an out of focus face and bring it back to being sharp.
Wow.
So there you go. How you can use NoNoise and Resize to do some basic restoration tasks on your photos.
Wow, that's excellent. Wow, well done, you. All right, hey Dan, some folks took me up on that offer. First, I just want to say a couple of shout outs. Sharon's saying hi from Iowa. Dan says he's fresh out of the hospital and watching. So he says hi to the Kelby One team. Thank you, Daniel. Hey, Daniel, we're glad you're out of the hospital. This is not the time of year to be in the hospital. You want to be home with your family. Don's got a couple of questions here. First one is, what is the best way to open ON1 Max as a plugin from Lightroom?
So that is a good question. I'm just going to cancel out of here and let me go launch Lightroom. Who knows what I was looking at last in Lightroom? Here we go.
Hey,
Back
Dan,
to
while you're doing that, I just want to tack on something. I don't do any noise reduction in Lightroom anymore at all. Now, is the noise reduction in Lightroom bad? No. Do you have much control over it? No. Is it
Yes.
slow as blazes? Yes. And that was the first thing that made me move over was the speed, because the speed of ON1's no noise reduction, as you saw when I was just showing you a few minutes ago, is very, very quick. It's seconds. The one in Lightroom, you need to go make a cup of coffee. It's just slow. It's just darn slow. The bigger the files, the slower it is. And once it shows up, you have very, very little control over anything. You don't have micro sharpening. You don't have all these adjustments. You don't have a bunch of different models to use for different things. It is what it is. So, all right, anyway, I didn't mean, but while you were launching that, Dan, I hate having dead air. So that was,
I know.
That was
Sorry
really
about that. I figured I would go out on the edge and do it live. So I launched Lightroom. I've got a photo selected. The best way to access the Max plugins is go to File, Plugin Extras, and then down here under Photo Raw 2026, or if you have the individual apps installed, they'll have their own section, and then pick where you want to send it. The benefit of doing it this way is we can help clean up copies that you inadvertently make if you cancel. And we can also take advantage of what we call smart photos. So I'll show you. I'll take this photo. I'm going to send it to effects. And I'm going to pick the smart photo PSD option for this. The cool thing about this is it's going to create a normal PSD to Lightroom and to Photoshop. It just looks like your average, ordinary PSD file, but to us, we're smart enough to know that you can go back and you can edit it again later. So there, I'll just turn a couple things on here. Let's make it black and white, and I'll put a vignette on it. Probably make it a little bit brighter here too. I'm not going to do a whole lot here, just to give you guys an idea of some of the little quick tweaks I might make. So great, I've got that done. I hit save. It's now creating that smart photo PSD. And if we go back over here to Lightroom, you'll see right here stacked with it in Lightroom is that new copy of the photo. It says smart photo PSD. Then if I want to go edit that again, I can actually re-edit the settings on it. So I can go straight back in to effects, make sure you use the original option. It'll pick it for you automatically, but leave it on open original. And now watch what happens. That same photo comes back with all of the settings, non-destructive, and I can go through and change them. So let's say, I didn't really want it to be black and white after all. I want it to be color. There we go. And I'll hit save. It saves that change. And when we go back to Lightroom over here, pop, now it's back in color. So just like that.
Perfect.
So you get that non-destructive editing loop if you go through that plugin extras menu. If you right click and you use the, what the heck is it under? I can't remember. Is that under export? No. Somewhere there's like a thing you can do in the right menu. Don't do that. You'll lose all those benefits if you go through the right click.
Aha. All right, great. Don's got a follow-up question. Is if you open an image from Lightroom, why is Resize AI grayed out?
Probably because you picked that smart photo option. So that's one of the limitations is we can't actually change the size of it or Lightroom will freak out. So
all right,
Lightroom expects your photo not to change in size.
Do you guys see why I call Dan when I get stuck? Because he knows all this little stuff, right? And just knowing that, like I'm sure Don is like I am. Oh, I didn't know that. That's great. All right, Allison and Jeremy have a question, and I just want to let you know that Alice and Jeremy are dear friends of mine, but I don't really like them. Anyway, the question for Dan. If you take a bird flying over the water, can you just like sharpen the bird and not the whole picture, as you don't want crisp water?
Definitely. And there's a couple different ways to do that. Trying to think if I have. I don't think I have a bird per se flying over something, but let's say we want to sharpen a person. Similar problem. So let's take this photo.
Yeah, it could be a person flying over water.
Could be. Yeah. I'll do the same thing. Let's go into effects. And if I just want to sharpen him, what I would do, this is the easy way for me to do it, is I would use Super Select AI. It's a tool over here on the left-hand side, and you just click on the thing that you want to work on, or you can drag a box over the thing that you want to work on. So I just want to add an effect to just the guy. So I click on him, and then I can right-click, and I can pick whatever sharpening tool I want to use. So I could use the plain old sharpening tool, or if you're like me, we're going to go for dynamic contrast, because that's our favorite.
That is.
And bam, it added that dynamic contrast filter for me. I can turn it on or off. Let me zoom in a little bit. And if we look at the mask, you can see how it's applied just to the guy, just like that.
Perfect.
Easy way to do it.
Allison and Jeremy have a follow-up question. Can you batch denoise in ON1 NoNoise AI?
Yes, you can. And I'll show you here in Photo Raw, it works the exact same way. What you would want to do is pick a couple of photos that need it. Let me go find us an example here. So let's say I wanted to add NoNoise to this photo and this photo. I picked 3 of them. Just use any of your multi-select commands that you would use in your operating system, Shift-click, Control-click, Command-click, whatever they happen to be. And then you open them up into Develop. That's where NoNoise lives. You can do the same thing with Resize as well. And I would just turn on the noise and sharpening. I would turn NoNoise on. I would adjust it to taste. And then bring up the film strip here at the bottom. You can bring up the film strip with the F key, or you can use this little control down here to change it to the film strip. So you see I've got this photo selected. It's blue. That means it's the one that I'm viewing. These other 2 photos are still selected. If I want to use the same settings from this photo on these other 2 photos, I would just right click and say sync all settings. And bam, you notice how these now have a little indicator on them that says, hey, I'm going to get NoNoise applied. And we've applied NoNoise to those. Just like that. Perfect.
One more question for you. This one's from John Balboni. Hi, John. I know John. John says, all right, ON1 Photo Raw is my workflow for processing astro photos, right? So astrophotography photos from my C-Star S50 telescope. The noise reduction works great and doesn't destroy the stars. So it's not really a question, it's just a comment, but thank you for sharing that, John.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You know, stuff like that, you know, it makes Eric Kuna cry. It makes him so happy when he hears someone removing noise without destroying the stars. So that's a big thing.
Yeah. Well, if you don't mind, could you maybe hook me up with his contact information when we're done here? Because star stacking is actually something that we're interested about for the future. And I want to talk to people who are interested in star stacking to get a little bit more information about the process. So.
Oh, great. Well, yeah, I'll send you John's email, because John's very loose with his email. I don't even have to ask him. He's like, send it to anyone. I send it to just random companies so he can get some spam. So, I'll shoot John a note. But thank you. Nice hearing from you, John. Well, that almost wraps up this episode, but at the end, we like to feature a photographer. So I'm going to turn you on to somebody this is a brand new Kelby ON1 instructor, but I met her at a conference years ago, and it took us about 2 years to get her on board, because she's also a physician. She's a doctor, but she's a hell of a photographer, and she's a Sony Alpha ambassador. Her name is Sapna Reddy, S-A-P-N-A, Reddy, R-E-D-D-Y, and that is her tag on Instagram. Take a look at her photography.
Wow.
Right?
They're gorgeous.
Oh, she is a hell of a photographer, and she gets around the world too. She travels for her photography. She teaches. She just taught a class for us here at Kelby ON1 in our landscape conference, and she's just terrific. I mean, look at her stuff. Her composition is great. I love her post-processing. I mean, you know, she's really got it all. And you saw a couple of quick shots of her there. But it doesn't matter what she shoots, whether she's shooting wildlife or, I mean, look at these. Her wildlife pictures are great. Her landscape pictures are great. Her travel pictures are great. She's just great. So give her a follow, if you will, on Instagram. She's already got about 90,000 followers. And again, it's Sapna, S-A-P-N-A-R-E-D-D-Y, Sapna Reddy. Make sure you follow her. She's just terrific. Well, guys, that wraps up our last one of the year. I want to thank Dan for joining us. Thank you, Dan, for dropping in, sharing that workflow, and also for answering questions that you didn't know were coming.
You bet.
But
no, I'm always here for it. So.
Hey, by the way, Dawn just says thank you very much for the answers. Awesome info. So there you go. All right, guys. Well, on behalf of myself and all the folks at ON1, I want to wish you guys a very, very happy holiday. Stay safe, have fun. This is a great time to catch up on your editing. And this is a great time to go back to photos you edited years ago. Go back to the raw and edit it with all the power and technology that we have today. Re-edit some of those photos and watch them come to life before your eyes. Everybody take care. Happy holidays, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.